So this is actually my very first episode of the Sticks and the Stone podcast. I'm very excited. As you can see, big old smile on my face. It's because I've just had this idea for so long of just making a podcast, just an unfiltered space for women, for men, for LGBTQ, for everybody, just while smoking. Be high, be free, you know? Yeah, that's why I decided to start. I wanted to talk about real things that were going on in the world, but I wanted to share food over it. And I also wanted to share thoughts over it, high thoughts over it. So, yeah. So the first thing I want to say is the strain that I had today was called Secret Weapon, a hash hole. Love it. Secret Weapon is a hybrid. It gets you calm, nice and attentive, you know. You've got the sativa, the attentiveness, and you've got that indica. You've got that nice, that calm, just smooth ride that I really like about it. That's what I'm on. And what I'm snacking on today is one of these. I ordered me a biggie bag. I have a few things that I was going to talk about today. And I actually made a list of what I wanted to discuss. I have notes here. So today I wanted to talk about the stigmas around women who smoke weed or indulge in any type of cannabis. So that is the basis for today's episode. Today's episode is about the stigmas around women who smoke weed. First point I wanted to talk about this topic is the double standard. Ladies, you already know. We already know, you already know, they already know. They don't want to admit it, but they already know, okay? The double standard behind this concept. Things that I don't understand about double standards is that nothing changes literally at all except the sex. That's it. Nothing changes at all except the sex. You have to be so utterly misogynistic to even think that this is not something that women as a culture can indulge in. A lot of women and a lot of moms, for some reason, they have shied away from the topic. They don't really disclose that they smoke cannabis, and I'm kind of like, no, baby, we're gonna lean right into that. So, my husband can come home from work after a long day, grab a beer, grab a Mickey Ultra, and drink it while he tends to my kid, to our son. But I can come home from a long day at work and I can't go smoke a blunt? It's ridiculous. There's no way that he is deemed responsible for drinking a beer, okay? Alcohol is poison, okay? We all know this. What it does to your brain, we know this, okay? Whatever. He can do that and it's deemed okay. But again, like I said, I can't smoke a blunt, or I can't take a 5 milligram edible, a 10 milligram edible, and still parent. Just because you're smoking cannabis or you're drinking alcohol does not define you as a person. It doesn't define you as a parent. Those two things are mutually exclusive. Just also women in general. Men who smoke and indulge in cannabis are known to be chill, calm. It's a hobby of his. It's just something he does. But now a woman wants to smoke and it's deemed taboo. Is she responsible? Doesn't she have dinner to cook? You know, doesn't she have a house to keep clean? These are all things that I have actively heard. These are all things that I have actively heard, and I just don't feel like it's fair. It's not fair. We all know it's not fair. We are living in a time where I can decide I'm going to take a holistic plant, okay, that bonds the fats in my body and makes me hungry, makes me sleepy, makes me calm. Some people have bad experiences with it. Some people have anxiety, but I believe tying into that factor comes responsibility. You have to be responsible with your cannabis usage, just like you have to be responsible with alcohol usage. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. There's absolutely no difference. Like right now, I smoked the secret weapon. I told my husband I'm coming in here to do a podcast. He said, okay. I fed the baby. I said, here you go. Here's our son. Because my husband is a parent as well. Simple as that. My husband is a parent, okay? I also believe that the misogyny behind mothers carrying the baby, breastfeeding, or formula feeding the baby, and the stigma comes down to, well, why is she not taking care of the kid? Well, why is he not taking care of the kid? Why can't the husband do it? I don't understand. He put in the time and the effort to have the baby, so he can put in the time and the effort to take care of the baby. Simple as that. Just because we are the child-bearing parent does not does not take away from the responsibilities of others. And this is just the stigma behind cannabis and motherhood, okay? Again, in all ages, it's for men, it's calming, it's chill, it's something he does on the weekend, whatever, it's his getaway. He just does it, you know? But again, a woman does it, whether she's a mother or not. Now she's irresponsible. And people are wondering about her life and her decision making. We see this in the music industry with female artists, women artists who have come out and they said that they're proud. They do smoke weed. They do indulge in cannabis, you know? Plenty of artists that have come out and said it. And for some reason, everybody bats an eye. But men can do it in their music videos and everything, and it'd be perfectly fine. I believe, for one, it's just a double standard. It is. It's just a double standard. Furthering that point about mothers, how mothers are still people. Moms are still people. I feel like people take motherhood and they wrap women in this blanket, and they're like, this blanket is now your little bubble. This is your bubble. This is where you stay. This is your lane. Everything about you before you had the baby is gone. I believe that type of propaganda is harmful to childbearing people in general, for women in general. Mothers are still people. You can be a mother and a singer. You can be a mother and a good barista. They can coexist, but being a mother is not your whole personality. Just because you by yourself indulge in cannabis does not make you a bad mother. Though correlation and causation, that's not what that equals here. Correlation does not equal causation. You know? Some mothers drink wine. That's the next thing I have to say. Some mom drinks wine. Why is it that a mother can come home and she can pour herself 15% alcohol into a wine glass and have 1 or 2 or even 3 glasses of wine? Even 3 glasses of wine. And it's okay. But when a woman who is a cannabis user smokes a 2 gram, okay, half of a 2 gram blunt, 15 minutes outside by herself, she's deemed irresponsible. So the wine mom can drink alcohol, which alcohol consumption under the age of 21 is not recommended anyways, in front of her children, but she's still deemed to be a good influence because it's just wine. But the mother, who, just because she's a stoner, does not mean she's irresponsible, steps away from her kids, smokes her little blunt 15 minutes, comes in, showers, changes her clothes so the secondhand smoke isn't around her kids. She's not doing it in front of her kids, but the wine mom is. But for some reason, as a society, we have normalized alcohol consumption. Not only that, alcohol consumption and underage drinking, things that have science. They decided to clean by my window when I'm trying to talk. Okay, he's done by my window. Furthermore, the mom who is indulging in cannabis is stepping away from her kids. She actually is taking the extra mile. Yes, you have to take the extra mile when it comes to secondhand smoke anyways. That's around anybody. But don't tell me that you guys haven't been in the same room with your aunt or your uncle who's lit a cigarette around your kids. Okay? It's the same concept, okay? So I feel like when we are looking at things like relaxation tactics, I believe a mother who smokes, like I said, half of a 2-gram blunt, and a mom who has 2 glasses of wine, which 15%, whatever, that's pretty high for wine, but still. Why? Now, what I will say about this topic is I am not disregarding responsible cannabis use. Just like anything, it has to be, you have to have a balance, okay? But that would be known as the adult. It is something you're indulging in, something you should know. That does not mean you are irresponsible, but all I'm saying is that it does require responsible cannabis use. Again, just like alcohol consumption, okay? It's about self-awareness, knowing yourself. If you know that as a parent, you parent a certain way, you know as yourself that there are certain things that you can handle, I believe those things have to come first, okay? I personally do not indulge in cannabis after like 5 o'clock. Why? Because if it's a hybrid, when an indica kind of starts to kick in, I have to make sure that I can be up and alert for my baby. But I also, okay, this is very important, I also make sure that when I am indulging in cannabis during the day, it is in times when he's taking a nap, I'm alert, I'm getting the dishes done, I'm doing whatever, I'm doing the laundry, I'm cleaning the living room, I'm cleaning the bedroom, something, you know? Like I said, responsibility usage. So if it's my goal to take care of the baby first, get the house chores done, then go smoke a blunt, I should be able to. I don't believe I should face stigma for that. Simple. Because if my husband can go to work and he can be out sweating all day in the hot sun, you know, working on aircraft like he does when he's in a hangar, he's not always in the sun, but, you know, still, UV rays. He can crack open a beer and watch and take care of our son and it'd be okay. I'm not arguing this topic with y'all. I'm not. It's just not, it's just, there are other things I could be spending my time on than concerned and worried about a mother who's indulging in cannabis usage. There are 50 million other things in the world that I need to worry about. There are starving children. At least you know that them kids never gonna starve, because if mama got the munchies, everybody's fed. Exactly. That cabinet is going to always be full. Her kids are always going to be fed. It does, like, simple as that. Because if she has the munchies, the kids, simple. That's what I'm saying. I don't see anything wrong with it. As long as you know yourself, like I said, responsible usage, it's fine. My relationship with cannabis has always been like, I actually first started smoking when I was 19. I was an athlete in school. But again, not to say athletes can't smoke. I'm just saying I was a high schooler, I was a kid, I was a minor. I really wasn't thinking about smoking weed. It wasn't something. But I never was against anybody who did it. I just, and my first time smoking, I was actually 19. I was like 18 or 19. So it was a choice that I made. And I just decided I was a hybrid girly. I liked that calm, but that alert high. I liked the way music sounded. I enjoyed it. I have ADHD, so I was like, this is so calming to me. When I got pregnant with my son, I was a stoner. Beforehand, not during my pregnancy, but I was a stoner when I got pregnant with my son. And I cut it out cold turkey. I was like, I can't do it anymore. But my relationship with marijuana was never always needed. It was recreational. And ever since I had my son, I waited until I was 6 weeks postpartum, sorry. I sparked up a spliff. He's not hurt. I'm not hurt. I just went through labor. I labored for like 24 hours. I pushed for 4 minutes. He was out. I need a blunt. Every mom needs a blunt at that point. I don't know who doesn't. I have to push a watermelon out my cooter, out my hoo-ha. I have to push. Okay, and it's not comfortable. I need a blunt. So my relationship was always healthy. It was always responsible before I was a mother. So it was a priority for me to remain and keep that level of responsible cannabis usage. Same thing, Closing thoughts about everything I just said. Why do women hide it? Why do women hide cannabis usage? Misogyny. Women hide their cannabis usage due to misogyny. They hide it due to fear of being rejected, fear of not being seen professional, fear of not being seen as a good mother, like we said. That's why they hide it. Mothers hide and women hide their cannabis usage due to misogyny.